Saturday Night Live, or the WWE Saturday Night Live has outdone itself, and let me tell you why. For the opener, we have the Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax. Now, I know that these two have had their differences over the course of a few weeks, but I think that these two had their best match on Saturday Night Live, in my opinion. Do I think that it outdid Elimination Chamber? I think so, because in that sort of scenario, Rhea Ripley wasn't really that, how do I say, up to par, or she wasn't 100% for that Elimination Chamber match. But this match was a solid match for the opener, and I have to think that this was a good first defense. The next scenario was the Intercontinental Championship, Braun Breaker and Sheamus, and I just have to say, throughout Braun's whole IC run, it has been about so much fun. I have to think that Sheamus and Braun have absolutely good chemistry, and it's wild to know that they put on an all-time Intercontinental Classic match. I mean, that bro kick had me going when I thought for a second he was going to have his first IC championship, but then I saw him leaning towards the rope and I was like, oh no, I don't want him to get the rope break, god dang it. But yeah, Braun did end up retaining in that sort of suit, but I have to admit that Braun has been getting good at defending his Intercontinental Championship and making it seem like the most coveted prize of all of the company, right up there with World Championships, which we'll get to in just a few minutes. Next, we have the Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman match, and let me tell you this match was not that decent, but I will admit this: the fact that it ended in a DQ was not my favorite. The onslaught that came after that is what made it so much better for me, because I think for me, Jacob Fatu was a person who just needed to be unleashed, and I feel like this was one of those signing moments where he was unleashed and we finally saw the natural born Samoan killer that we needed to see when he came up onto the roster. This was a man that you wanted to be the tribal chief. We all know we didn't want Roman. We didn't want Solo. It was Jacob Fatu who was gonna be the shining example of a person who was merciless and downright vicious when it comes down to it. And this was just a great way of showing what a real monster looks like, and I think this is gonna do big things for him, and I just hope it's not just like a one-time thing where he just unleashes all hell on some of his opponents, just like Strowman here. Even though Strowman did get the win, did he really win in the end? Yeah, I don't think he did. Moving on to the contract signing, and the segment was about how Shawn Michaels was gonna get in the ring and Cody and Kevin were gonna sign the contract for the ladder match at the Royal Rumble. What ends up happening here is that things do break loose and Kevin does go to try and hit a powerbomb through the table. Shawn Michaels gets involved after Kevin Owens absolutely blindsides Cody. Cody super kicks Kevin, and then Shawn Michaels delivers a sweet chin music. It wasn't the best, but I will take it. A sweet chin music any day is a good day to me. That was a pretty decent segment, even if that sweet chin music didn't look the best, but a sweet chin music nonetheless. And we have the main event, which was Gunther defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso. Now, let me say this. This match to me was practically one of Jay's best matches of the year so far, and I think that that's not saying much considering we still have a lot of the year to go, but we all know that the year ends so fast anyway, so I'm just putting this match up here just so I have something to look back on. Other than that, I think Gunther's reign for what it is so far has been going pretty solid if you ask me. I think with his how many defenses? I think it's his fourth or fifth defense. This defense was one of his top matches so far, or at least one of the best matches with good crowd reactions that really got them invested. And I think if you have a crowd invested into your match just like that one, I think that proves that you deserve to be on top. And I had to say, these two absolutely worked. I mean, those two spears to the splash at the closing parts of that match, that made me almost believe for a second that Jay was gonna be walking in as a world champion. And this gives me some hope that Jay is at least gonna be putting on a good showing for the Royal Rumble. After that performance, I think he has a strong chance at being in the final six. Now, don't quote me on that, but hey, anything can happen during the Royal Rumble, and we all know that. Check out my other videos. Thank you all so much for watching. And STARZ, unite.